How old is too old to bathe/shower with your child? My ex and her mom think I shouldn't bathe or shower with my 1.5-year-old. Since I told them once, she pointed at my privates and asked what dad. I told her that's daddy's private, don't touch. That's it. As long as she isn't like 6 to 7 and not getting curious like that at all, I see no problem with it. There are a lot of really great answers here, but I do feel that a bit more than a U.S.A. or Anglo view on this is good as well. In many countries around the world, communal bathing is common, saunas in Scandinavian countries, Japanese baths, etc. And nudity is not a major thing amongst people. So amongst a lot of the world. The answer is you're never too old to bathe with your family or community. The answer I liked best from the below answers is when it gets uncomfortable and quiet. Bathing time should be a joy. We stopped bathing with our kids in most situations around 6 to 7. We share a shower/change room in public situations, at a water park for example, because I want to be the extra layer of security and my kids will still come out in wet gross clothes if I don't hound them to keep the dry stuff of the floor. 9+ years old, mine really don't want us, or anyone, to see them undressed at this point. So it's a non-issue for us. Everyone is different. But I feel like pre-teen is where my limit would be. Every kid discovers modesty at different ages. Roughly around 6 or 7 most kids will naturally want to cover their business and quat. As we say in my house. I'd say. Generally as soon as they can reasonably wash themselves is the point it's no longer appropriate. That's, after all, the only reason you should be bathing with them. They feel like when it comes down to it you're on your own and it's every man for themselves? No. Been that way for too long. Surround yourself with love, mate. I feel like you never know until the people around you are tested. I would consciously die for my family and friends. But I'm honestly not sure how I would react based on instinct alone if we were all in danger. Edit, I also feel that way sometimes. I've felt like that before. But I've since surrounded myself with better people who actually show up when I call them. How did your depression start? I hope you can understand that there might be also organic factors leading you to develop depression. So there has not necessarily be external factors triggering it. Does this question comes out of mere curiosity, or are you going through one at the moment and are trying to validate what could have originated it in the first place by comparing against other people's experiences? Do not hesitate to look for help. You will have depression all your life, but you can develop the skills to overcome the sadness and stay in a balanced mental state. Even with depression, getting help is the best you can do to get better. When I was relocated at my job, management is worse. The people I deal with are worse. Workload is worse. I can hardly get time off because they're very strict with annual leave. It's all too chaotic for me, and despite my efforts for trying to make it work for them and them being aware that I'm autistic, they aren't willing to actually help. I'm now currently on the sick due to it all. Which is something I didn't intend to do because it would leave my colleagues short-staffed. But the way I was made to feel after bringing up my struggles and offering alternative solutions, I wasn't left with much of a choice. It was either go on the sick, or end up having a breakdown in the office one day. It was 2005 or 6, started a new school, loved my new friends, my new teacher. I was there less than a week, I think. My teacher tripped on her way past me and hit her head off my desk. We all laughed for a second until this horrible snoring noise came out of her. That's when I really looked down and saw her eyes with no light left in them. The entire room felt like a flurry. In just moments we were whisked away out of the room. The teachers tried to tell us that she passed away before she hit the ground, but the older children that lived with told me truths. She had a brain aneurysm and what I saw was her dying. I was never the same happy-go-lucky kid after that. How do you like your tea? It depends on the tea. Chai, made over the stove with extra cardamom and extra cloves. Earl Grey, plain, with milk and sugar, with milk, sugar, a bit of vanilla, and rose or lavender syrup. Green tea varieties, plain and on the moderately strong side or with a teaspoon of sugar. White teas, light brew. Black teas, depends on what kind. I would not drink a Darjeeling with milk. But I love a good, strong cup of Thai Fu or Yorkshire Gold with milk and sugar. I do not drink many herbal teas. In a cup take 80% milk and rest water. Boil it once, then lower the heat. Now put lil more than 1 spoon tea, I am Indian so milk tea. Then crush 1 cardamom and add that as well, boil the tea 2 to 3 times. I add sugar in starting with milk. Trust me, try it. With milk and sugar, but it has to be specific way made. Like I have the ingredients. And apparently I need the correct pot too if making on stove. But if making on microwave, then I just need the same brand/ingredients to make it. I have tried it with different brands and the taste isn't same. So black tea boiled. And then add sugar and bit of milk. I prefer flavored black teas. If no milk, then cold brewed and sweetened with turbinado sugar or stevia. If with milk, then just a wee bit of milk. Brewed hot and with 1.5 teaspoons turbinado or rock sugar. Steeped for about 5 minutes. Works for almost every black tea I've tried bar 1 or 2. Matcha lattes are good iced too. But a pain in the ass to make without the grittiness. They find it bizarre that there are so many obsessively horny freaks like those around you? It's everywhere. It's one of the many reasons why I'm subscribed to anti-sex. Have never encountered such a thing. I know some people that make sexual references a lot though. But never met someone who is into anime and obsessed like that. I live in Australia. Romanizing and sexualizing everything is becoming not only common but the norm, and expectation, in present-day societies both online and in real life. So it comes to no surprise to me that people are now normalizing the sexualization of children and things that should be protected. Young people are actively encouraged to think this way and are often exposed to unhealthy representations and information of sex at an extremely young age. The times I've heard of kids being exposed to porn is shocking. Also, not just unhealthy representation but the sheer volume of this kind of media is always pushed to the forefront of everything we consume. I sometimes think I am crazy because it makes me slightly sick. This is a big reason why I find it so hard being a woman these days. No matter how much I try to blind myself of it. Not having Instagram or Snapchat. All the stupid butts in our faces is literally everywhere. I can't even go through the day with that shit being shoved down our throats. I'm so incredibly sick of it all. Thanks for your post. Cause whenever I mention this to people, they look at me like I'm crazy. I just can't get on board with how porn sick the world is today.